And now for something completely different. I really enjoy exposing myself to differing thoughts, opinions, and ideas. I'm always willing to take on new evidence and change my beliefs if there's reason to do so. And today the YouTube algorithm has really delivered. I got recommended this absolute doozy of a video entitled, wait for it, Elon Musk desperately thirsts for Twitter violence. Great clickbait title here, I couldn't resist. I watched a few seconds just to get an idea, and I think this is going to be a great video to react to. Now, I am being a little presumptuous here, having not watched the full video. Maybe this isn't what I expect, but based on the title, I got a pretty strong feeling, and my radar isn't that bad, that this is going to be another one of those. I suspect what we're going to see here is an example of many of the zombies, the sheeple out there who fail to think for themselves and just accept the narrative. The army of Elon Musk haters who, for whatever reason, definitely not their own self-hatred being projected outward, vehemently, and I mean vehemently, dislike or just plain hate the guy. So, assuming this video actually delivers and doesn't end up on the scrap heap, if you're watching it, good news, it didn't. I got a very strong feeling we may learn some valuable lessons in self-delusion, cognitive biases, how not to think, and perhaps why there's so many vocal critics of Elon Musk. Many of the lessons I'm hopeful we'll learn in today's video will be directly applicable to investing in stocks and other assets. It's critically important to form one's own opinions based on one's own homework and one's own digging. If one is inheriting their opinions, their thoughts and ideas about people, assets, or any other topic from other people rather than having built their own beliefs on a very solid foundation doing their own homework, one is likely to make enormous errors of judgment. When money's involved, when it comes to investing, shout out to Trevor Meltdown Milton, Fraudstown Motors, Lucid Stock, Rivian Stock, I could keep going on. I've seen many investors fall into this trap. Maybe we can learn a few lessons about not deluding ourselves and how to actually think rather than think we thought. A very quick lesson from my personal life. Just last week, less than 7 days ago, I was having dinner with a friend at a nice restaurant, and out of nowhere, one of the waitresses who was buzzing around for whatever reason seemed to take a fancy to me, wasn't assigned to our table, but still barged into a conversation I was having with my friend and then bar manager, talking about this, that, and the other, literally had her hands all over me, showing very, very, very high signs of interest. However, I happen to be wearing this very shirt. Don't bet against Elon. Link in the description to pick up your own. There's shirts, mugs, hoodies, and so on. I thought, what a great filter. I'll ask, do you know who Elon is? What do you think of Elon Musk? So, while she's still touching and flirting and showing very high signs of interest, I ask her, do you know who Elon is? She responds, Elon Musk? I don't think I like the guy because I heard someone say that he could have solved world hunger, but instead, he bought Twitter. At this point in time, my brain says, it's not worth it, Stephen, and I immediately just turned and resumed the conversation she'd interrupted. This was a perfect example of somebody forming an opinion, a false, erroneous, unreasonable, unfair, and unjust opinion without knowing what the actual they are talking about. Now, in a situation like this, if you've heard some rumors about somebody or you've heard somebody say something, to then take that on board and take it as fact without verifying and then make a character, a value judgment about the person. I don't like Elon Musk because I heard XYZ. Clear demonstration of a moron. Well, guess what? I got a funny feeling this woman's been watching these kind of videos. So let's watch this video together entitled Elon Musk desperately thirsts for Twitter violence. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And just quickly, I want to make sure that everybody understands here, there's never anything personal on this channel. I'm always talking about, discussing, attacking, mocking, and ridiculing ideas, not people. It's just sometimes those ideas have come from individuals, people can misconstrue here, but again, it's never anything personal. I'd be happy to have a nice, kind, friendly conversation with anybody who wants to share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas, but if, and I get the impression this is the case in today's video, you say something moronic and stupid, I am going to point out that what you said was moronic and stupid, and I may actually make some references to the person who said it, just to describe the generic type of thinking or lack thereof that other people who say those same kind of things engage in. Okay, let's watch this video entitled Elon Musk desperately thirsts for Twitter violence. Currently, a little over 5,500 views. I'll add my thoughts and comments along the way.
Okay, so let's move on to this. Oh, we're going to be starting off with a little bit of a prediction of mine, so let's jump right into that.
And if Elon Musk comes in and tweets, yeah, I found the shadow banning file cabinet, they'll just believe it. He never has to demonstrate it. Even if he doesn't say it, they still already believe that it's true.
So the right believes that Twitter is biased against them. Elon Musk buying it is amazing because now it's all going to change. But it's not all gonna change like when Elon Musk actually takes over or changes up people that work there, the terms of service. It's already changed, even though he hasn't taken it over. And I want to show an example of how this works. The prediction that I just made, that he can say anything he wants and they will just buy it. It'll confirm everything they've ever believed about Twitter.
Just want to take a real quick pause here. Note the very broad and all-encompassing language. I'm not sure what this guy's name is. Sorry, dude. Can't see it on here. What's this called? The Brain Damage Report by, John. Okay, John. I'm assuming this is John. Sorry, John, if it's not you, you're just co-hosting or something. Anyway, John has described the right as if there's one descriptor that encompasses everybody who leans to the political right, and is now making very generic statements about the entire right, everybody falling under this category. I'm very careful on this YouTube channel, some of you folks may have noticed, when I talk about some people on the left, rather than all people on the left. It's very important to make this distinction. This is groupthink. This is branding an entire group of people, painting them all with the same broad brushstroke. Never intelligent. Better to have a slightly more nuanced discussion. Let's continue.
So Mike Cernovich, who we'll talk more about in a bit, tweeted at Elon Musk this nonsense or whatever. And Elon Musk responds, Twitter has a strong left-wing bias.
Now, I just want to take a moment here. This is an accurate statement. Last I heard, some ridiculous percentage of Twitter employees voted Democrat in the last election. Now, please don't think that reading a headline is enough. Do the homework yourselves, but I really don't want this to be a 4-hour and 20-minute long video. But here's a few quick headlines that you should read into to verify that the information in the headline is actually true. And when you do that, you're like, oh, okay, fair call. Let me just read a couple of these just to give a bit of a sense. December 4th, 2021, the New York Post writes, Twitter employees give to Democrats by wide margin, citing data. A stunning 99% of online political contributions made by Twitter employees in 2021 went to Democrats. 99%. Does that sound like a slight bias in one direction politically? 99%? Nah, definitely not. There's no bias there. Just Elon's full of shit. From the Daily Mail about a year earlier, 2020. 90% of Facebook and Twitter employee political donations, that's right, to the Democrats again. Fancy that. But of course, there's no left bias whatsoever in Twitter or any social media platforms. Elon Musk is full of shit, and that's the end of that. So I have a funny feeling we're now about to learn how Twitter doesn't lean left, which seems rather counter to reality. I mean, honestly, it's very, very clear that the majority of academia, and I'm specifically talking about the United States, although this does apply outside in some cases, the majority of academia, almost every single Hollywood celebrity in the United States, most of the mainstream media in the United States leans left. This isn't news. This isn't surprising. This isn't a controversial thing to say. Some people don't want to hear it, don't want to believe it, often because they've inherited their opinions rather than doing any thinking. But if you actually look at the evidence, and there's plenty of it, it's a reasonable thing to say that Twitter leans left. Big tech in general leans left. Social media leans left. Academia, Hollywood celebrities, you name it, left-leaning. These are just reasonable statements to make. It is a rare Hollywood celebrity who speaks out against any of the leftist ideologies. And I'm not making comments whether this is good or bad, I'm just pointing out these are reasonable things to say. So let's see what John here has to say about Twitter's left-leaning bias, allegedly.
Okay, so we're gonna leave aside, we're not gonna reiterate all of what Caroline or Bueno says on Twitter, which is actually showing the academic research, multiple studies of which have shown that in the United States and in countries around the world, the algorithm actually amplifies right-wing content.
Let's stop here for a moment. Now, forget about the algorithm, okay? What we were talking about, the whole idea of Twitter, let's go back here to see Twitter obviously has a strong left-wing bias. Elon's referring to the company, not necessarily the algorithm here, okay? And we can play games all day citing this study and citing that one. I think anybody reasonable on the left or the right would actually agree that Twitter clearly does have a left-leaning bias.
As soon as it leaves his mouth, Newsmax tweets, Elon Musk admitted that Twitter has a left-wing bias when enforcing its content standard policy. You see the magic trick that they played there? Elon Musk, who doesn't own Twitter, doesn't control Twitter, has no secret information, has no access to their algorithm, says it. He just says an opinion.
One that's reasonable, I might add again. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick here. I get, right, Elon didn't present a gigantic document proving that Twitter has a left-leaning bias, but I think any unbiased person, a casual observer, can see this. It's quite evident. This isn't a secret. This isn't a conspiracy. This is just a reasonable thing to say. Of course, I see where this is going now. Elon Musk says it and therefore it's true. He doesn't need to prove anything. I highly encourage everybody watching, if you know somebody who works at Twitter, ask them internally at the company of all the employees that they currently work with who work at Twitter, their colleagues. Ask them to estimate, on average, what percent do they think of their colleagues voted Democrats in the last election versus Republicans? In general, what percent of their colleagues will describe themselves as leaning left versus leaning right? It doesn't matter which way you come at this. You're going to find that all social media companies in the United States, all big tech companies, lean heavily to the left. Just it is what it is. Let's continue.
And because they know the right-wing base thinks he already controls the whole thing, and he's in there crunching the numbers and stuff, Newsmax gets to say he admitted that Twitter has left-wing bias.
By the way, I have to agree here, like Newsmax kind of admitting, that's actually suggesting as if Twitter does have something to do with Elon Musk already. They're tied. He's got some inside information. I agree with this point completely. Newsmax, which leans clearly to the right, and I mean like super right, taking a little bit of creative license with the title of their article, of course. Elon Musk desperately thirsts for Twitter violence is not an example of the same thing. Let's continue.
As if he knows what he's talking about.
I mean, he does. He doesn't need any internal information from Twitter to see the left-leaning bias again. Disgusting.
And so, yeah, this is what I was warning about. Like, even if he finds nothing, it's not going to matter. All of this is going to confirm for them that Twitter was always biased against the right. You know, damn all the studies. What do you think?
It's just people who don't have billions of dollars, anyone who has achieved billions of dollars in their lifetime, regardless of how they were able to do that, and the way that Elon Musk has done that is highly problematic.
You know what? Speaking of making claims without evidence, anyone get a feeling that she's not going to back up what she said? Please explain. If anyone knows, I mean, I don't know who this person is. I don't see her name on screen. Sorry, lady. I'll just call her lady. That's not offensive, is it? I'm assuming that she's a she. You never know these days. I'm just curious. What exactly has been problematic about Elon Musk making his money? You know, develops online mapping services with Zip2, sells that company for a packet, starts a payments company, merges, becomes PayPal, exits that company as well, invests practically every spare cent in a space company and an automobile company, revolutionizes two independent industries at the same time, literally almost broke, having to borrow money to pay rent, investing every spare cent in these companies, adding huge amounts of value, massively disrupting the launch industry, driving the cost of launch, getting payloads to orbit down by order of magnitude or more and still going, Tesla disrupting the entire automotive industry, transitioning the world, forcing the entire world now to accelerate their transition to sustainable energy, the value of those companies going up, Elon Musk's wealth going up as a direct result of adding value and doing a positive thing for the world in multiple companies. I'm not sure what is problematic about how Elon made his money, but of course, I'm sure that lady here doesn't actually know. She's just read something. She's probably about an emerald mine or some other bullshit. It's the irony here, the unawareness of these folks. And again, I'm not saying everyone on the left is stupid. Clearly not. But clearly we have two people here who lean to the left, and the very same things that they're saying about Elon Musk, or people just will believe blindly whatever he says. You know, they don't need proof. We're seeing the same thing in reverse here. They're just regurgitating the narratives, nothing to back it up. Most of you will understand how Elon Musk made his money. There's nothing questionable or unethical that's been involved there. And this again is a lesson about our biases. It's so important if you're going to talk smack and have these opinions that you can back them up. It's not just because you get roasted by some dickhead on YouTube who clearly is a biased Elon fanboy, so don't worry, everything I say is wrong. It's because you're making incredibly dumb decisions, not just incorrectly judging people's character, which is a huge mistake, one of the worst forms of non-physical violence you can inflict upon another human being, prematurely and negatively judging their character, because once we make our minds up, that's it. We'll have cognitive biases. We'll look for proof, confirmation. We'll read another headline. Oh, that headline says Elon Musk, full self-driving, people dead. I hate that guy. He's a just a poor way to exist. Let's continue. What else do you have to say?
But people just hold them in higher respect because they did something that, you know, I wasn't able to do, that the average American was not able to do. So
might be going out on a limb here, but can you smell any jealousy or envy? This seems to be a common way of thinking. That person has lots of money. They're a billionaire. They did something that I can't do or didn't do. And instead of being, congratulations, that's awesome. I wasn't willing to work 80, 100 hours a week for the last 15, 20 years, sleep on factory floors, let my health, my personal life, my relationships and everything suffer along the way because I really believed in the mission. I wasn't willing to take large risks. I wasn't the hardest worker. No. It's just they did something that I wasn't able to do. Usually the translation is I wasn't willing to do, and I don't like it. It makes me feel bad about myself, in my opinion. Let's continue. Remember, all billionaires are bad, all billionaires are greedy, and everyone who has any money took it away from somebody else, because that's how it works.
And clearly he's deserving of my respect, of my admiration. He knows things that I don't know, right? That's the implication there, is that Elon Musk has access to places that we don't. He has access to information that we don't. He knows people on the inside. So whatever he tells us, we are being privileged with that information. He's decided that he wants to give us a little bit of information and we're going to take it, and we're going to take it as gospel, or at least the people who support him seem to think that way, right? So if he says something as flippant as, oh yeah, Twitter is left-leaning, even though Twitter is just Americans, or, you know, the whole world really just putting...
Again, I mean, I hate to point out the obvious here, but this is really the brain damage report. They're totally missing it, right? Elon was describing the company Twitter, okay? Headquartered in Silicon Valley, one of the most left-leaning places in the entire United States. The vast majority of the workforce at Twitter are left-leaning. This is not a secret. Elon's not talking about the people on the platform being left-leaning. He's just talking about the company itself. When you have that left-leaning bias at the top of the company and all the way through, it spills over into the website. Of course, again, I'm just a deluded fanboy. I don't know what I'm talking about, so please don't believe me. Everything I say is wrong. I really think they're missing the mark here.
Putting stuff on the internet, right? He could say something like that. He doesn't need to prove it. He doesn't need to back it up. He's not burdened by...
The irony here is killing me. I mean, this is the same woman who moments ago was talking about how Elon has made his money and threw out a pretty strong accusation there about how he's made his money. No burden of proof, doesn't need to back it up, didn't back it up and doesn't have a leg to stand on. If pressed and challenged about this, you're going to have tumbleweeds. He's got nothing to say, no leg to stand on. It's just unbelievable, the irony here.
Like left-leaning people tend to demand some kind of proof. People on the right tend to not need that proof.
What's going on here? Okay, why are we talking about people on the left, people on the right, and then just making these broad... What? I don't understand. I really don't. I mean, I'm politically down the center, like literally dead center. So maybe I'm not able to speak from the perspective of somebody on the left or the right down the middle, but you could literally reverse everything that's being said here. And in the context of this video, two people clearly on the left here making claims and accusations, espousing drivel that has nothing to do with reality and not being willing to back anything up. Why? Because somebody told them that that's what they believe and that's true. And please be clear, right? There are many people on the right who are just as deluded as these two, okay? People have biases no matter what they believe or think. But the irony here to not recognize that these people are doing the exact same thing they're describing on the supposed right is just absolutely incredible. I remind you again of the interaction with the waitress just a week ago. Formed an opinion about Elon Musk, not at all grounded in reality. Incredibly dumb enough to believe that world hunger could be solved for less than the cost of acquiring Twitter, which is just absolutely absurd. I mean, really, if we think about this, the amount of money that's being spent, and let's not go down there. What else have we got here?
Just it coming out of Elon Musk's mouth is enough for them because he seems to be on their side. They just want an ally. They just want to feel like someone powerful is backing them. And if they have all this power behind them and all this money behind them, they're going to get what they want. And that's it. That's all that really matters.
By the way, going into this, it didn't make any sense. But going into this whole Twitter thing, the right presented Elon Musk as just a reasonable, independent thinker. He's not like dogmatically left or right. He's independent, which every time they label someone as an independent thinker, they mean we believe that they're right wing. It just hasn't, the stink isn't on them yet.
Again, you notice they. It's like just they, the right. Everyone on the right believes the one thing and man, this is hard work, guys. I tell you what. By the way, please note the body language of our host here. I mean, look, I'm not a body language expert, but hey, I'm not that far off it. This to me, the facial expression here, this looks to me just like the physical manifestation of butthurt, envy, and jealousy. But I could be wrong, of course, because I'm not an expert on this. I'm just thinking out loud. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Does this look like somebody whose sphincter is tightening, contracting as he speaks, or is it just me?
So we're gonna we know that if you're identified as being right, it's disgusting. So we need these celebrities who don't have that stink. Are they acting as if he's an independent thinker? That they're not exactly sure whether they should trust him on everything or not? No, they're acting as if they know damn well that he agrees with them. And again, doesn't have any secret information about Twitter. So just bear that in mind as more and more stuff comes out.
It's true he doesn't have any secret information about Twitter, although certainly as a third-party observer makes some statements about Twitter that you don't need internal data to actually demonstrate again, but we won't go down that path. No point repeating myself. I'm not going to get through to some people anyway.
And he is going to do this. He can tweet something like this and they will gobble it up. It'll get 100,000 retweets. Any baseless claim he makes about Twitter, because this guy is desperate to be liked.
Oh, my life. That was the perfect ending this video has delivered. Oh my God. Let's listen again. This is amazing.
He's going to do this. He can tweet something like this and they will gobble it up. It'll get 100,000 retweets. Any baseless claim he makes about Twitter, because this guy is desperate to be liked.
I just have to, John, I'm so sorry, dude, but possibly one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a human being say, ever. I mean, ever. Let's think about this for a minute. Of course, definitely that wasn't projecting at all. Let's take a moment to think about the absurdity of this claim. I mean, by the way, video is done here. Maybe we'll look at some of the comments later, but I just have to talk about this. Now, just remember, the title of this video, Elon Musk desperately thirsts for Twitter violence. I didn't really see anything in the video whatsoever to do with Twitter violence or Elon Musk thirsting for said violence. Did you? That's the full video, by the way. I mean, I haven't edited anything out to be sneaky here. But I just want to talk about the absurdity of this comment that Elon Musk is desperate to be liked. How much of a fucking moron do you need to be to believe this to be true? It is my belief that on occasion, somebody can say something so incredibly moronic, it's an instant tell that their cognitive faculties are simply offline. This is one of those cases. Let's think through the idea, the premise, the suggestion, the accusation that Elon Musk is desperate to be liked. How about starting SpaceX, having the entire legacy launch industry coming at you, many people within NASA, your childhood heroes, astronauts shitting on your company, lawsuits trying to prevent you from even competing to get launch contracts, ending up in courts, in lawsuits, fighting, having the entire space and launch industry practically against you, plus many previous NASA astronauts. Yeah, it seems like somebody who wants to be liked to me. How about starting an electric vehicle company, taking on the entire fossil fuel industry and the legacy automotive industry, and suffering a decade and a half of relentless, baseless attacks on both character and personality, caring so much about saving lives and having a positive impact on the world that as recently as a few weeks ago, Elon says happily that Tesla will do what is right, even though they know they're going to suffer enormous amounts of lawsuits. What are they talking about? Pushing this autonomous technology, getting safer vehicles on the road, and ensuring less people die or injured and permanently disabled in accidents that are preventable by safer driving, full self-driving technology. The amount of hate being directed at Elon Musk from every direction you can possibly imagine is just astonishing. The idea that this guy is desperate to be liked, a guy who will freely share his thoughts, opinions, and ideas, knowing full well the reaction from many people won't be great. Elon went into this Twitter purchase knowing full well that he'd get relentlessly attacked from many, not everyone, many people on the political left, and in the mainstream media, and in academia, and in Hollywood, and the attacks continue from every direction. Elon Musk is the polar opposite of somebody who is desperate to be liked. He gives no fucks about being liked. He just cares about doing what he believes to be right. The fact that this comment was thrown out at the end of this video, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes people can occasionally say something, and that one statement is enough to tell you a lot about how they think or don't. It doesn't matter which way you come at this. There's no conceivable way you could possibly think that Elon Musk is somebody who even cares about anyone liking him. Almost every professional and personal action this guy has taken has put a target on his back. You have steaming piles of excrement, like Senator Karen the Robert Reich, Bernie Sanders, constantly attacking him. The world's richest man. Elon doesn't pay enough taxes, says Senator Karen the despite the fact that Elon paid, $10-11 billion of personal income tax last year? Further proof of Elon not needing to be liked or wanting to be liked is the very fact that he points out things that will piss off many people on the political left, like the fact that Twitter has a left-leaning bias. We're seeing these attacks on Elon now. This video is called Elon Musk Desperately Thirsts for Twitter Violence. Clearly John and Lady here don't like Elon Musk. If he was desperate to be liked, he wouldn't be ruffling their feathers by saying things that are accurate that he knows will piss people off. So let's take a quick look at some of the comments on this video. Maybe we'll see some people calling out the BS, maybe we'll see some more sheeple reiterating and regurgitating the same ridiculous narratives. Let's see what we can find. Zoom in a little bit here. I'll just scroll from the top. Let's see what happens. Anything else you blue donkey turds like to invent? Well, one call out. So far so good. Musk is a genius. He knows what's better, what's right, and what's wrong. Interesting. Quote, they will believe anything this guy tweets out because he is desperate to be liked. What? Let's move on. The commie dude is a human geyser of bullshit. No comment. From Nick. Is the left really this stupid? They are ripping on people for following a successful billionaire inventor dude while they follow people who memorize lines and have zero real success. You so dumb. Elon Musk is God and should be worshipped by crypto bros. All hail Musk. Clear satire. The right is always playing the victim. They claim everything is against them. They are always censored. Yet their grievances, their voices are deafening. I can't wait for this Twitter deal to fall through and all the right-wing nutjobs lose their minds and invent some new conspiracy. Quote, they are just trying to prevent Elon from revealing the truth. Tiger Lily writes, the blue pilling is strong here. Well said. I remember when I believed everything the media told me to believe too. It's almost like I forgot I had my own eyes, ears, and brain. This is a very, very sharp observation. Spot on. Everything I've heard regurgitated in today's video is examples of two clowns believing everything the media told them to believe too. They definitely have forgotten to use their own eyes, ears, and brain. Great comment. Musk is a rich guy, but he really is a narcissistic jerk. Now, I will say, definitely some narcissism there. I mean, bro, I'm guilty too. I think every single person you know of who isn't in your close social circle in real life has some narcissistic tendencies, maybe one or two exceptions. It is what it is. However, I do take issue with the jerk jerk part. I mean, I would describe Elon as anything but a jerk. This is the dumbest take from John I've heard in a while, and I've heard a few. I definitely agree this is a very dumb take, although I don't know who John is apart from this video. I can't wait until his failures can't be covered up anymore. His time is running out, lol. I mean, geez, talk about a toxic mindset, but what even is this? It's like, so apparently Musk has lots of failures, but they've all been covered up, so we don't know about them yet. But of course, if we keep waiting, because time's running out, we'll eventually find out about all of his failures that so far we are unaware of, but apparently exist, according to Miss, I'm assuming, Ellis. Elon is a fraud. Oh, here we go. This is going to be good. Please name something he originally came up with and not something already existing or someone else's ideas. He acts like a robot and tells you water is wet and people lose their minds. He's trash. A master manipulator. A ... I think Christy got into such a rage she couldn't finish her comment. Here we go. Definitely from the bottom 1%. Brain poisoned propaganda, rhetorical lies by the Musker. He was handed millions of dollars from his parents. Really? Musk is another entitled elitist. Oh boy. People that idolize Musk are so pathetic. I totally agree. Idolizing somebody who spent every waking hour of his adult life trying to do good in the world, worked harder than anyone I personally know, sacrificed more than anyone I know of in the pursuit of these important philanthropic goals, somebody that's positively impacted the world in multiple businesses. Yeah, it's so pathetic to idolize somebody who's done so much good in the world and put others so much before himself. Elon is all for freedom of speech until the posts are calling him out or against his belief. Then he's not. I mean, really, dude? I have, from the very beginning, questioned why in the hell people worship this rich asshole. Remember, rich is a dirty word. If somebody has money, they took it from me. Being rich doesn't make you important. I agree, by the way. Being rich doesn't make you important. I want to take a quick moment here, just a quick pause. Some thoughts, opinions, and ideas, just my own. No proof, just hypothesizing and thinking out loud. I personally believe that I've noticed a trend among people who hate on others. Often, the biggest targets, the wealthiest people in the world. I believe that the majority of these people who think that all billionaires are evil, they took money, they did something, they hurt people along the way, if they have something, it's because they took it from me or others, they don't deserve it, and so on. People use the word billionaire as a dirty word, rich as a dirty word, and so on. I believe the majority of these people, and I'm not making light of this, I'm not joking around, I'm being very serious here, the majority of these people are suffering. They're suffering from some combination of a horrible childhood and unprocessed traumas. Hopefully over time they can deal with these and grow, especially emotionally. Crippling inferiority complexes, deep insecurities, intense jealousy, envy, and more likely than not are also suffering from some form of mental illness. Now, I'm not suggesting that everybody who suffers from mental illness thinks like this. In fact, not even close. But it seems to be a common thread. It almost seems as if to hate Elon Musk is to hate oneself. I also believe that the majority of the hatred directed toward people like Elon Musk is coming from people in the, wait for it, I'm going to say it, and yes, it's very controversial and I don't give a fuck because that's right, I'm not desperate to be liked. Just here to share my thoughts and ideas. I believe that the majority of people hating on Elon and others see themselves in the bottom 5, 10, 15, maybe 20% of humanity by whatever metric you choose to use. Now, before you get your panties in a twist, allow me to explain what I personally mean when I talk about the bottom, let's say 10% or 1% of humanity. I'm talking about character traits and nothing else. Of course, I'm sure a few people are ready to argue, how dare you can't judge this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, don't be a fucking moron, okay? Let's talk about this, okay? There are clearly traits that are desirable and useful, positive, helpful, good in humans, and there are also traits that manifest themselves that aren't so good. Let me ask you a question. Let's just talk about, say, a close friend or an intimate partner. Would you prefer them to have more integrity or less integrity? To be more positive and optimistic or more negative and pessimistic? To be more honest or more dishonest? To be physically violent or have the capability to control their emotions? Would you prefer them to have a victim mentality, to blame others? Prefer them to find an excuse or be somebody who finds a way and takes personal ownership? Would you prefer them to be somebody who continues to learn and grow and try to improve themselves? Would you prefer them to be the kind of person who keys somebody's car out of envy and jealousy, rather than maybe working on a plan to help improve their own financial circumstances so they too can afford the car that currently makes them rage with jealousy and envy because they can't currently afford it? You understand what I'm saying, right? There are people who are lower value than others, okay? These are just the fucking facts. There has to be a bottom 1% of humanity by whatever metrics you use, and sure, you might have your own criteria, but there's a lot of overlap. Hope I've made my point. Believe it or not, there is actually a social hierarchy, a dominance hierarchy in the world. Many people toward the bottom of this hierarchy realize it's a hierarchy, a ladder they can improve, grow, learn, add more value, and continue to climb up and improve their circumstances by adding value to the world. Many others, however, see the gaping void between where they are and where somebody else is, whether it's economically, spiritually, in terms of relationships, their health, whatever it is, pick your metric. Some people, toxically, think that if they try to tear others down, it'll make them feel better about their current circumstance, aka being at the bottom of the pile. And by the way, you'll often see examples of this when somebody's very optimistic, happy, upbeat, positive. If they're around negative people, these negative people just can't stand this person. Why are they so what's wrong with this person, man? F*** the government, everything sucks, my boss is shit, everything's fucking shit. These people often just feel the need to smear others and try and bring them down so they feel better about their current situation. It's sad, but it seems to be true. Of course, I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Right. It's not like we can find any examples of people who view themselves at the absolute bottom of the dominance hierarchy, see people who are more optimistic, more quote-unquote successful, happier, have healthier relationships, are in better physical health, aren't suffering from severe forms of depression or other challenges mental health-wise. There's definitely no examples of that. Let's just read some more random comments. The super rich and their servants need to remember the guillotines just need dusting off. I mean, let's think for a moment. How dark of a place psychologically does one need to be to make this kind of comment? Basically suggesting that super rich people should have their heads chopped off. I mean, seriously, think about that for a while. Is a psychologically healthy person likely to say something like this? I don't believe so. Musk should take a one-way trip to Mars. You guys kind of get the point, right? Maybe I'm just imagining things. Here's a great one. Probably from somebody who's earning bottom 10% income. Again, I'm not trying to be a dick here, okay? There's nothing bad about having a low income. But the mindset of some people toward the bottom of that dominance hierarchy, instead of thinking, wait, how have these people done what I haven't been able to do? Can I learn from them? Success leaves clues. What have they done that I'm not doing that could lead me in a similar direction? Instead, some people feel so shitty about their own circumstances that they think like this, quote, the rich need the rest for us to be divided. I think it means the rest of us to be divided. Maybe she needs anyway. Maybe English is not their first language. They use disinfo like left-wing bias, clearly. The status quo won't and survive educated Oh, mate, this has to be a troll. You got me there. No one, I mean, it's got to be satire. Every time I think my opinion of this mediocre man couldn't go lower, it does. I sincerely wish I knew of a way to help these people. I honestly, genuinely do. I don't think there's a single person out there spitting venom and hate at Elon Musk who doesn't in some way or another hate themselves or their current circumstances. Unfortunately, many people who do currently hate themselves and or their circumstances are trying to improve, working to make progress, trying to better themselves, to become a better person, to grow, to learn, to gain new insights, add more value, to improve. Yet there's a subset of these people who, instead of actually attempting to make progress, would just rather spit venom, hate, point the finger, play the victim and blame other people. I really wish I knew how to help these people. I don't really know what I can do other than to make these kind of videos and respond and hope that maybe 1 in 10,000 of these folks who hate Elon Musk because he's an evil billionaire and did this, that and the other, you know, sexist, misogynist, racist, rich parents, that would mine, blah, 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 sees me and says, this guy, I'm going to prove him wrong. Everything I believe about Elon Musk, I believe because of good evidence. I have a foundation for these beliefs. Let me go prove it. And then starts digging and digging and digging and realizes that literally every negative thing they believe about Elon Musk is false. Of course, this may be wishful thinking, but it's all I got. I just sometimes feel the need to respond to this stuff. I genuinely feel bad for these people. I'm sure John and Lady here actually genuinely believe that Elon's a bad person, but the fact that they believe that is just evidence that they're morons who didn't actually do any thinking. I really don't understand how anyone who's mentally healthy, who actually understands, has dug into Elon's character, his traits, his track record, his values, what he said, what he's done, everything about this guy. I just don't understand how anyone mentally healthy who's done that level of homework actually has a reasonable foundation for their beliefs, can believe anything other than this guy has a big heart, is trying to positively impact the world, and is the last person who should be the target of so much venom, vitriol, and hate. If I were to learn, for example, that our good friend John here from the Brain Damage Report, I hate to say it, I'm going to be honest here, didn't have a father figure in his childhood, at least not a suitable father figure, if any at all, I would not be surprised. John is currently taking antidepressant medication. I would not be surprised. And again, I'm not trying to say that people who are depressed think this or that are bad people. I'm just saying that these tend to be common trends. I'm just thinking out loud here because I'm trying to find the common threads. Why is it that so many people completely unreasonably hate Elon Musk? And I think the answer, in short, is they hate themselves. What do you guys and girls think? Let me know in the comments below. So, hope you guys and girls have enjoyed this video. I also genuinely and sincerely hope that John, Lady, and everybody else who's attacking Elon Musk can get the help that they need. Probably mostly emotional help to deal with some traumas and mental health issues. Again, not making light, I'm being very serious here. John, if you happen to be watching, if anyone sent you this clip, I think therapy may be a good idea. And again, I'm being very serious here. Of course, it's going to be taken as an insult, but I'm trying to help. It is my belief that John, in fact, desperately thirsts to be liked. Hence, jump on board with the one true narrative, regurgitate the points, spit venom where we're supposed to spit venom because we all have to hate this same person, this same category of human, billionaire, rich guy, whatever. And then finally, I'll receive the love from the world that I never received in my childhood. Of course, pure hypothesis here, but might be onto something. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do any of you know somebody who doesn't like Elon Musk for reasons that actually aren't related to anything to do with Elon Musk? You know, they just heard something, like the waitress the other evening at that restaurant. Oh, and by the way, on that topic, I intend on returning to that restaurant regularly in the coming weeks, wearing a new Elon Musk shirt every single time, because it's going to be fun. And lastly, don't forget to sign up to Patreon with the card in the corner or the link at the pinned comment. You gain access to well over 100 videos. I talk about a lot of stuff on Patreon that I can't really discuss here on YouTube. Plus, you gain instant access to my Tesla stock price targets out over the next decade. So, I'll see you over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Especially the people who are really suffering right now, who I'm trying to help. I just don't know any other way to do it than point out the absurdity of the things they say and possible reasons for why they're saying the things they say, and maybe some ways to help resolve those unresolved issues, e.g. therapy, working on mental health, spiritual development, and so on. Good luck, guys and girls. Remember, if you hate Elon Musk, it might be possible that you actually hate yourself. Something to think about. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel, and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.